Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's about 7:30.
Yes, 7:25.
We are just now pulling over at the Buc-ee's at Daytona. We left the house this morning at 5:34 to drive.
We got a good start.
Yeah,
good
to
early
drive
start.
from where we live near Melbourne, Florida, back to a little town in North Carolina where my family is to spend a few days with my family. And we're just going to take you along for a road trip. Hope you enjoy this video.
Yeah. So I just finished the latest novel by Stephen King called You Like It Darker. It's a series of short stories, or novellas, because I think there's only 4 in the entire book. And I thought, you know what, since we're on our road trip to Charlotte, I'm going to do a quick review for you because this one's a little bit different. I actually listened to it, instead of reading it. And there's a specific reason why, and it's because I really like the narrator. So let's get into it, and I'll tell you why I really enjoyed this book. All right, so I think the way that we're going to do this is to kind of give you an overall summary of the book at large. I won't go through every single story because there are 12, but I'll go through some of the ones that I found memorable, and then I will do kind of a small section that'll tell you why I enjoyed the narration so much, why I chose an audiobook version rather than just reading a Kindle electronic version or a paper version. And then at the very end, I'll tell you which one I enjoyed the most and which one I enjoyed the least. All right, let's dip into it. You Like It Darker is a collection of 12 stories by Stephen King, showcasing his talent for blending horror with heartfelt moments. The collection opens with The Answer Man, a thought-provoking tale where a man gains the power to know anything about the future. This gift, however, comes with significant moral and existential dilemmas, reflecting King's ability to intertwine supernatural elements with deep philosophical questions. One of the standout stories is called Rattlesnakes. This is a sequel to King's 1981 novel Cujo. In this story, Vic Trenton, now 72, is grappling with the trauma of losing his son Tad to the rabid St. Bernard. Set during the pandemic, Vic retreats to a friend's property in the Florida Keys, where he meets a widow with her own tragic past. Their shared grief attracts the attention of malevolent forces, including ghostly twins who died in a tragic accident. This story revisits the themes of loss and survival, emphasizing the lingering impacts of past horrors. Another notable story is called The Fifth Step, a chilling, concise narrative that delves into the realm of true crime. Over just 10 pages, it encapsulates the terror of encountering a seemingly ordinary person who harbors dark secrets. The brevity of the story enhances its impact, leaving readers, including myself, unsettled. On Slide In Road, this story features a grandfather who defends his family with a baseball bat, blending Stephen's signature horror with a touching portrayal of familial love and resilience. This story highlights King's skill at making even the most frightening scenarios relatable, and I think that's a special thing about this author that he has done throughout his entire career through the lens of family dynamics. The Crate. This is a story that is a direct homage to the classic horror genre, in my opinion. It revolves around an old crate discovered in a university basement containing a creature that, let's just say, wreaks havoc. This tale is a nod to King's earlier works. It's filled with suspense and gory details that fans of traditional horror will really appreciate.
What do you think?
I like it.
You think she should get it?
$3.99. We'll get her something. There's some little donuts here. She'll love some of these.
Hey, will any of that long lasting maybe?
I'm not sure how long that feels.
Do you care if she makes a mess in the back of the Jeep?
I mean, we did just get it cleaned, but
can that be her breakfast?
Swept out. That's not.
Can that be her breakfast?
I don't know if she likes deer, but you can get her any of these if you want. I don't know what they are. They're a quarter pound of chocolate. Look at that.
Alright, this was my first time ever seeing the Buc-ee's bathrooms, and I was so impressed. But we wanted to show you a little haul of everything.
Yeah, we did a haul. You could have spent hours in there, by the way, just looking around at the different
They
things.
have
but
literally everything.
we've got a mixed cheese, cheddar cheese, a cheddar cheese cup.
This is for us to share snacking on the road, and part of Abra's breakfast this morning too. I'm gonna have to hold the camera. I can't help you.
No, it's okay. I've got, this was their cleanest beef jerky. Smoked stick, jalapeno. So we got that. Little Abadoo's got a rabbit jerky. Has about 70 calories in it, so that's perfect for a breakfast for
She's
her.
gonna make a mess in the backseat with it.
I got some, I think these are these smoked almonds? I don't know, they were warm and it reminded me of Christmas time. And then Jules got 2 bacon, egg, and cheese bowls. So they're just the egg, no bread. She actually confirmed with the little lady.
So happy to see, because they have all these breakfast biscuits, but I didn't want the biscuit, and I don't like to have to scrape things out of a biscuit. And she's like, oh, we have little protein bowls. It's just, I love it. Egg,
It's
bacon,
probably,
and
what,
cheese.
2 eggs, you think?
Yeah.
2 eggs with some cheese.
I need more than one, though.
That's all right. Yeah, so we got 2 of those. I apologize, I don't have my receipt. So, yes, I do have my receipt. So we spent $31. $31. I also got some of their sugar-free mints I wanted to try at the register. They're sours, so I'm going to have those too. All right.
All right, let's hit the road.
We are about 100 miles in.
Yeah.
478 more to go.
Yeah. I just gave Abra a little walk, stretched her legs, had a little potty break, and now we're back on 95 North.
Let's head.
She's not loving it back there. She doesn't have a whole lot of room, but unfortunately, we couldn't put
None of us
anything in
do.
the bed of the Jeep because we're thinking that it might potentially rain. So she's got about almost 1 full seat right there.
Ooh,
Here
there
we
we go.
Abra, what you think? What you think, baby? It's for you.
The Little Green God of Agony. This story explores the theme of pain and its manifestations. A billionaire suffering from chronic pain after an accident believes a malevolent entity is responsible for his suffering. He employs a dubious healer to exorcise this god, leading to a climactic confrontation that questions the nature of pain and healing. The Cookie Jar. Stephen delves into this supernatural with a story about a magical jar that grants wishes, but at a great cost. This tells a blend of whimsy and darkness, showcasing King's ability to merge fantastical elements with moral lessons. The story, which alludes to the title, You Like It Darker, ties all of these narratives together thematically. It's an exploration of humanity's fascination with the macabre and the darker aspects of life. King uses this story to reflect on his own career and the enduring appeal of horror. Finishing the book, we have an afterword. I think this is a really nice personal touch with Stephen King reflecting on his own writing process and the themes that have persisted throughout his career. He goes on to acknowledge the darkness in his stories, but also the underlying humanity that makes his work, in my opinion, resonate with readers. Overall, I believe this book of short stories, You Like It Darker, is a testament to Stephen King's mastery of the horror genre. Don't expect it to be straight horror. Don't expect it to be straight detective novel. Don't expect it to be straight anything, really. I would say it's a nice blend, and each story in this collection does offer a unique blend of suspense, some supernatural element, and what I think is most important, true human experiences. So if you're a fan of Stephen King, I believe that this one is a strong collection, and I think we can understand and realize that he's been going, and he's still going very strong. He is and does remain a beloved figure in contemporary literature. Okay, so first for the narration, there's quite a few narrators that I really enjoy listening to. Kind of found my little, set of 4 or 5 over the years, since Audible's really been a thing. that I really kind of seek out more the narrator rather than a specific book, and then it just so happens that a lot of those times, at least in my experience, they kind of overlap and link up. So I guess I'm not the only one who has a few favorites. And with Stephen King, the last, I'm going to say decade, quite a few of his books are narrated by Will Patton, who is an actor. And with Will's voice, very gravelly, he does a great job with different voices, inflections, and just overall a style that I find myself being able to listen to regardless of what's being read. And he's not exclusive to Stephen King books, but like I said, the last several years, I think the first audiobook that I remember him narrating that I really picked up on and listened to was Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. And then he has also done The Outsider, and after that, kind of all of the books almost leading up to today's with the book of short stories. And so once I saw that he had been picked for the narration, that is ultimately why I decided to listen to it rather than read it on a digital copy. And I'm very glad I did.
See how full the car is?
Yeah.
Can you show the camera yet?
I'm going to follow you in. I know, you hear the birds?
Abra.
We must be getting close to Savannah. Do you smell that?
I do.
I've had a trauma. That's a trauma response. I'm getting like negative feelings of that. We told that story, didn't we?
I don't know if we did or we didn't.
Savannah's the worst place on the planet to go.
Okay, there it is, right there. Look.
Yep, that's it. That's a paper mill.
I don't know if that's a paper mill, but it's putting out something.
That was bad. I did a half marathon there, and it was raining and cold, and they didn't
Chugging in the taste and the smell.
And it's like, I kept getting told, well, once you turn here, turn there, the paper mill smell will go away, and it never went away. I continued to eat it all morning. That's the coldest, the wettest, and the stinkiest I've ever ran in my entire life. And then it took Julie, like another 15 or 20 minutes to find me?
I've heard lots of people complain about the smell of the Savannah paper mill, but you're the only person I've never known who complains about the taste of the Savannah paper mill.
Every turn we made, it was still right there in your face. It was so bad. I think we're a few miles away from Savannah, but the smell is already
I don't know if
here.
that was actually the paper mill or not.
It was something.
You gonna be okay?
I think I'll be all right.
Need some smelling
We'll
salt?
try to hold my breath through Savannah. No, I don't need smelling salts. Oh, God, no. I think that it brings the book a little bit more to life. They do a good job of sprinkling in some audio music. They do. There's one story where he has to distort his voice because in the book it says they use a voice modulator to and so they actually overlay that, and you hear that, and so that's really neat. I enjoyed that. Frank Mueller is another one that's done a lot of Stephen's older books, and I would put those two guys up there as definite favorites. Excuse me. The Stand, Frank did, and it's absolutely astounding if you've never listened to that on audiobook. It's quite amazing. So anyway, that was my reason. I was not disappointed that I chose to do the audiobook, and very glad that I did, and I think you would do yourself a favor by reading, I use that in loose quotations, listening to it in this form.
We're in South Carolina now. It feels like we should be halfway there. Are we halfway there yet?
We're over halfway there.
Okay.
But
95 is 2 lanes here, 2 narrow lanes. No one is going anywhere near the speed limit. And
it was smooth sailing.
you can tell the moment you cross from Georgia into South Carolina and the moment you cross from South Carolina back into North Carolina. You'll be able to tell a big difference in the road. But,
We're basically driving the
what time is it? 11
link.
yet? 11 o'clock yet?
It's 5
Almost 11. We are driving in the whitest part of the state, I think. Just about.
Just about.
Abra is taking a nap. Great. There. How was your food from Buc-ee's? We never did a review. My bowl was awesome. My breakfast bowl with the bacon and sausage and the cheese. It was a lot denser than I thought it would be, and it was almost too much food, but it was awesome. I really liked it.
I'm going to do this responsibly, so I'm not going to look at you. I'm just going to point. So I had all 6 or 7 of these. I can't remember. There were 7 grams of protein each, 0 carbs. So I had all of those. And
Were they good?
They were. They were
They were
spicy.
hot. I had a bite. It was hot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And then I have some cheese to go with it. And I'm eating their sugar-free mints right now. They're orange, and they're really good.
Yeah. Almonds?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. The almonds were good.
I didn't try them. Were they sugared or what were they?
They were
Flavored?
like I don't know how to describe it. They were roasted, I guess is the one. I'm an idiot. They were roasted and salted. Yeah.
And the praline. is
I haven't touched that yet.
I can't figure out a point. He's in the Dorian. We're saving that. I don't want any.
I don't know if I'm going to eat it, but
I
I've
don't
not had a
know.
praline. Our first road
Ever
trip
trip.
together
Yeah.
was to Charleston, South Carolina. I had never been. Julie had been many times, and so she took me. And that was also the first time I'd ever had a fresh-baked, hot, it's not baked, I guess, but a fresh-made, hot praline. And so I saw these today, and it just kind of made me reminisce. And so I told Julie, when we get into South Carolina, I'm going to eat this. I've not eaten it yet. I don't know that I will eat it. It smells really good, though. But I did buy one today at Buc-ee's.
So far, loved everything we had.
Yeah, it's been good.
See what I mean about the road? It's just
Yeah, it's like, look at all this
Kinda rough.
space. Everywhere else, 95 is like 6 lanes, and here in South Carolina, they're like, nah, we need the median with all this grass. We can't expand the lanes.
one thing I will say about road tripping since becoming carnivore is I miss boiled peanuts.
Oh, God. She made me try those one time.
I love boiled peanuts, but they only slap when you're on a road trip. You gotta get them hot and salty, and you gotta eat them before they get cold.
I don't understand the point. They're
Freaking
just
love 'em.
mushy peanut shells.
I keep seeing signs for like south of the border or boiled peanuts off the side of the road, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, I miss them so much. But I don't eat nuts anymore. I don't ever eat nuts, really.
No, you don't at all. No.
I guess peanuts aren't technically nuts, but if I were going to eat something, I would eat a nut. And peanuts are something else.
Legumes.
But legumes.
They're
But
in the bean family.
I don't even know. I definitely don't eat beans. Absolutely do not eat beans. But whatever peanuts are, they are out of my life, and I'm just really missing my boiled peanuts right now. Just so you know, carnivore isn't, sunshine and rainbows all the time.
It has been interesting going through now 3 states. You had all the orange stuff going through Florida. And we, of course, we had all the peach stuff going through Georgia. And pecan. There was some pecan stuff. And now, like Julie said, now we're seeing boiled peanuts everywhere. So, yep. I'm sure we'll see pralines, advertisements for pralines in a little bit.
I'm very curious what our diet is going to look like once we move to Columbia and see what we end up eating. Can't wait
Yeah,
to
like
find
you
out.
said, I think I don't know that we're going to be in anything ist when we get there, but be responsible, But I'm excited. We've had some Colombian food before, and we know the meat is good there.
Fish.
Yeah.
Very excited for lots and lots of fish.
Yes, you're excited for fish. Yes,
You like fish too.
I do. I don't know that I would say I was excited for it.
I like fish in any country where you are encouraged to eat it with your fingers.
That has been good. Yes, you give me a little bit of lemon on the side, and maybe you kind of pan fry it or broil it. Yes, I agree. That is good stuff. Fresh coffee.
We should get a thumbnail. On the count of 3, cheese at the camera, right?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. After 11, and oh, I don't think you can see it. Cracked windshield. A rock came flying out of nowhere and hit our windshield. And since we're in a Jeep, they have very flat windshields. They're really prone to cracking. It happened.
2 out of 2 road trips to Florida.
Yeah, when we moved down to Florida, I was the one driving the Jeep, and Michael was driving the U-Haul. And when we got down to Florida, I didn't even hear it happen. Cracked our windshield moving to Florida, and then cracked our windshield again moving back home. Was that kismet? Is that the word?
No, that's not destined. No.
Serendipity?
That may be.
There's a word
more
for
like
it when it's like too ironic to be true, but it really happened.
That was a big one too.
Thanks.
We heard that one. That rock came hard. That was.
Yep. Oh well. I marked where the crack stopped, but it's this much bigger now, I guess because it's so hot. It goes from here all the way over there. I'm going to mark that. I'll let you know if it gets any bigger.
So, my favorite. I will say this. The favorite had to be the Cujo follow-up. Because of straight nostalgia reasons. So, Cujo came out in 1981. Did not read, could not talk. I was just, a couple of months old. But Cujo ended up being the very first novel that I ever read by Stephen King. And I remember it. It's a very, very core memory for me because I've read almost his entire library now. I guess that would be 32 years later. I'm trying to remember how old I was. I know I was in the 8th grade, the story of how I picked the first Stephen King book up. I was in the 8th grade. Had a very, very great, lovely English teacher who pushed us to read things out of the box, might have allowed us to pick things that were a little more on the adult theme, but would challenge us to be able to do that if we or she thought we could critically think through that or handle it. So I thank Miss Lewis for today even for some of my love of reading. And so we go into the school library, and I noticed that on one of the sections, I don't even remember what section it was, but they had pulled Cujo out. So it was on the front, in front, and the cover was pointed out into the body of the library. And I think it was the movie cover. I believe it was probably somewhere along the lines of the 10-year anniversary. I'm trying to line up timelines, but it was a white cover. Stephen King's name, big and bold, and Cujo's name, big and bold, in red, I think. And then the Saint Bernard, all you saw was, the jaws and the teeth and some of the blood on the skin. And quite honestly, I didn't know who he was. I realize now I'd actually seen some movies that had been some bad movies. There were some bad 80s movies that Stephen King had released when Castle Rock, his production company, was in full force, but that's a different conversation. Anyway, at the time I had never read, right, in the 8th grade, I'd never really read him. And saw the book, picked it up and kind of opened up to read the flap cover, and was kind of mesmerized. And so I asked, Miss Lewis allowed me to check that out. Definitely now, very adult book for an 8th grader, but at the time, like I said, she kind of pushed us to explore that, and so scared me absolutely to death.
Look at how pathetic she looks back here. Oh, she doesn't like it. We're almost there, baby girl. We're almost home. Another potty break, stretch of legs. We didn't eat her bully stick, so we're gonna give her the rest of the
Yeah, we got 86 more miles.
I
We're
thought
gonna.
she would eat that and that could be like breakfast.
I
She
know.
didn't eat any breakfast this morning either.
Well, she's never had rabbit before, and we decided to get rabbit. There was rabbit, deer, lamb, chicken, turkey.
We forgot to tell the story of how she has paint in her ear.
Yeah, if you see little bits of like highlighter yellow on her ears, her babysitter was painting the outside of her house. Amber might have got a little couple of flyaways.
She got a little too close. To
Yeah.
This is the worst gas station.
Oh, don't even get me started,
Man, we were spoiled by Buc-ee's.
guys. This was so bad. This is don't ever come to the Amico in somewhere BFE, South Carolina. You want to talk about a rural route? We passed about 20 miles of nothing but corn here and a new school off the interstate. But we are 86 miles.
Worst restroom I've ever seen.
Worst
I don't
restroom.
know. And that's I've been to many the Appalachian
And-
Mountains. I've been to National Park, man.
Guys, I asked for $50 worth of gas, and I think it has taken us, what, 12
We've been here
minutes?
At least 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is no kidding. Trying to
We've
get
been
gas.
doing everything in tandem. The dog.
Because guess what you also cannot do? You also cannot prepay here. You have to go in and see the clerk
I'm
inside.
gonna just complain. There's a big sign as you walk into the restroom. By the way, the sign that says restroom is handwritten on a paper towel tape.
And it says, do not ask for paper
It says,
towels.
Do not ask for paper towels to dry your hands. Per somebody's guidelines, a hand blow dryer is provided. The whole thing was covered in what looked like toothpaste. Could not get it to turn on.
That was the best thing. I thought something was covered in my man's restroom.
So it was
Uh-huh.
the worst.
It's so bad.
So bad.
Do not use phone while fueling.
Well, you know what? They can't even provide basic human sanitation at this gas station.
Yeah.
Man, we gotta figure out how to go from Buc-ee's to Buc-ee's to Buc-ee's to Buc-ee's.
We missed it.
Throw in some QTs and maybe
Yeah.
some Wawa or two, but that's it. I can't do this.
Yeah, we were.
I can't do rural podunk gas station.
I didn't think that was a thing anymore. But when you see America's Best Value Inn, you kind of sort of
Okay,
know
we
where you
sound like
are.
we're getting really whiny and complaining.
We are, but we've been on the cooped up for almost 8 hours.
What time is it?
It's 1:06. We've been in this car since 5:34.
Yeah, it's been a long ride. We're all getting kind of cranky and crabby. We should see this.
Guys, we're still not at $50 yet. Oh, and they wouldn't let me say how much I want. I was like, I want a full tank. Well, you got to guess an amount, and it'll go back on your card. I was like, will it though? Like, who's going to check on that in this part of South Carolina? So I said, just give me 50. It's not going to fill it up, but it'll get us
Not
to
less than 100 miles.
Granny's. Yeah.
But, I'm sorry for all the bitching and complaining, but we are all. My back is killing me because we had to slide the seats so
It's-
far forward. I've had no lumbar support for 8 hours.
But I will say this. It went by faster than what I thought it would have when we started this morning.
The drive is fine.
The drive was fine. The drive is
This
fine
much
now.
luggage in the back.
We had about 40 miles of just knuckle punching in South Carolina when we first entered it, but we're good now.
Hey,
All right,
there it
we
is.
are there. Let's get out of here and get on the road.
Somebody feels good after her potty break.
Well, I got them poops out my poops. Get that fly out of here. Get out of here.
She had a little afternoon delight we weren't expecting.
Bishopville. That's the town.
It's a historical marker for the Battle of Ratcliffe's Bridge. That's interesting. Here's a little look at what's on the site today. We are in, I believe it's called
Bishopville.
Bishopville, South Carolina. Battle of Ratcliffe's Bridge. We picked up 3 flies back there at that gas station.
That tracks.
We can't get them out of the car. Ooh, there's a monument there. Huh. Bishopville. Welcome to Bishopville.
Oh, what do you call that? The art? I don't know what it's called.
What? It's not fleur de lis, right? You talking about the leaves?
No, just what it's called in general.
Oh, I don't know. Cute little old town. Uh-oh, everyone's out again.
Well, we got
Sorry,
a little while to
Boo-Boo,
go,
we're almost
Abra.
there.
Hey, let's look at that old brick.
Yeah, man, there's Revolutionary War history here. I would really like to be able to stop and experience some of it, but we are on a time crunch, unfortunately.
Anybody who doesn't know, it is a very, very good pet dog in the beginning, a Saint Bernard who is bit by a rabid bat. And so, of course, anyone who knows the disease progression of rabies knows that, dogs exhibit those symptoms. And, of course, if they bite us, we can as well. And so that's just a small piece, even though it is named Cujo. That's only a small piece of what the story's, really about. He terrorizes a mother and her son Tad. They end up getting trapped in. The story kind of revolves around getting trapped in this car with the mother and the young son. You've probably seen the movie. However, Tad is now the grown-up in this story in Stephen King's current book. And so I really like when he readdresses some of his older characters, or he smatters older characters in other stories. And Dr. Sleep was really the first time that he had done that, and loved that. That book is a really well done book. Cujo, again, that started the love, so I had to give it to the story in this book as the favorite. So again, do yourself a favor and make sure that you read Cujo if you really want to kind of get the entire world of Tad, and then come in and pick this one up. You Like It Darker, and make sure that you pay attention to that story. We just passed a gas station. Gas was $2.99 a gallon. That's the first time that I've seen gas under $3. A year? Over a year. Yeah, well over a year.
We didn't stop though.
But Julie did tell me when I first met her, South Carolina is the place where you go to get gas.
Yes.
Nothing else, but you go to get gas there. I think the worst story in You Like It Darker is a tie, because if you look at the reviews out there, and I will give you my personal preference, but Rattlesnakes, which is what we were just talking about as my favorite, that's the follow-up sequel to Cujo, is the one that falls the most flat with other readers. And I think that on a completely impartial level, I would agree that Cujo is not even one of top 5, 6, 8, maybe even top 10 Stephen King books. And I knew that. So like I said, I wasn't expecting like great things from Rattlesnakes. So if you just do a search, you just do a generic, hey, what's the worst, what's the best, these are probably not going to pop up, except for the worst on Rattlesnakes. They're saying that it doesn't really have a lot of suspense. I would kind of agree. However, I think that overall, when we look at the themes and we really sit down and think about what King is best at and what he's not so great at, Two Lucky Bastards, which is Two Lucky Bastards because they're from Boston, for me is probably the least favorite story. Because I'm not a big fan of aliens. I'm not a big fan of UFOs. Don't really care a whole lot about space. Space is boring to me. And that's really what that story is about. So that one, for me, was the least favorite. Not that it was not well written. It just wasn't that interesting to me, quite honestly. So anyway, that's my least favorite. The critics, maybe even yourself, if you've read the book, would say Rattlesnakes. However, Rattlesnakes ended up being my favorite simply because it took me back to a time of discovering my love of Stephen King, and so ultimately I had to choose that one. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. I hope you had an okay time listening to me narrate this synopsis. But any questions, any suggestions, please reach out. I always appreciate it. I love getting suggestions for other things to read. I hope it helped. If it did, you're very, very welcome. I think you would do yourself a favor, pick this one up, and kind of give it a read. All right, guys, until next time, have a great day, and bye-bye.